my mind.
Oh yes, double record. Double record. Welcome, welcome, and welcome to the nameless but yet still named Doctor Who podcast.
Yep.
We are not great content creators.
No, we've been slipping a little bit because we've had some trouble keeping to our days.
It's a
work.
vibe though, isn't it?
Yep.
Like it's a fantastic vibe.
We did a lot better this week. This is Wednesday.
Last week it was Thursday. Wasn't it? I quite liked going because like after we did the podcast last week, we went almost straight into the next episode. Like it kind of broke up the week in a nice way.
Yeah.
Like I got to Thursday, right, and I was trying to think what the previous episode was. Like I couldn't remember what we had watched by the time we started talking. I was like, what was that?
The Demons of the
Punjab. I was like, wasn't that the one before? Like I just couldn't place it in my mind because of the length of time. Tonight's episode is called Kerbalm.
Kerbalm.
Kerbalm. We should start.
Kerbalm.
We should start with news. I didn't see any news this week. Did you see any news?
No, like they officially confirmed that there's not going to be a Christmas special, but that was last week.
Did they officially confirm?
Okay.
Yeah.
If we get into rumours, I read a crazy rumour. It was on like Outpost Scarrow.
Yeah, big Outpost. I remember Outpost Scarrow.
Have you read this rumour?
Is this the they're only doing 2 seasons and then they're done, or
like Chris Chibnall is not happy about the fact because apparently Chris Chibnall's contract is like you'll do like a 5-year contract for the series.
Seems legit. And he's not happy with that.
He's not happy with
but
this.
Presumably
apparently the BBC have seen how popular it is and they want him to do more. They want him to do like a series every year.
Oh,
and he's
gosh. Every year? That's shocking.
And he's like, no, I can't. Like, apparently he genuinely might quit because of this.
That's fine. Like, yeah, it's popular, but nothing will be missed.
Jodie Whittaker might not be, like, she might only do 2 series.
I heard that originally. I assumed that was the plan. So I saw a thing, it was like someone was saying in Starburst magazine, because that's a thing.
I've not heard of that magazine.
Yeah, I think it's a magazine, maybe I'm making it up, but they were saying that, because I was hearing this rumour years ago, or before the show started, that he just wanted to do 2 seasons and then out. You know, like 2 seasons with his Doctor and then done. And that seems like
a bright star.
Yeah, exactly. That 2 seasons seems like... Like 3 seasons is probably like what you want.
3 seasons is probably ideal.
3 seasons is probably what you want, but like I like Eccleston's 1 season. I think that works quite perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, and it was a great start for New Who because you got to see everything. You got to see
regeneration.
Yeah.
I think that was quite important for the show and its return.
Absolutely.
In retrospect.
But I was hearing rumours that like I don't know. I was thinking about this today when I was out walking that Jodie might only do 1 season.
Yeah,
like that's kind of what's been swirling about in like 1 or 2 seasons, and like I don't think she's had strong enough episodes to kind of unless the last few episodes are absolute bangers. But then again, I suppose you could consider her the Eccleston type.
But like she seems like I think they learned the mistake from Eccleston and they started signing Doctors up to 3 series because I don't know if you noticed, but all the other Doctors have 3 series.
Well,
it's almost as if that's how long they were contracted for.
It does seem like a grueling thing.
Yeah.
That the guy that plays Newt Scamander in Harry Potter. I saw an interview with him once.
What's his name? What's that?
Eddie Redgrave. I'm not good with actor's name.
He was the one who played Stephen Hawking.
Yeah. He had an interview, I think it was on like Radio 1 or something, and they were like, oh, would you ever consider playing the Doctor? Because you know how Newt's basically just the Doctor.
Yeah.
He has a bow tie, he has a great coat.
He has a small thing that's a big thing.
He has a TARDIS. Like, they were like, have you ever considered playing the Doctor? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. But I spoke to like Matt Smith once, and he told me about like the filming commitments.
Them being buds. They seem like a type.
Absolutely. And he was like, yeah, it sounds great, but no, I would never could never do that. Also, he's a massive film star.
Yeah.
So like, apart from that, the filming commitments. But so there's a rumor that like he's actually angry with his popularity.
Like apparently he's like, nope, I signed up to do this many, and now you're gonna make me do more.
I don't know if they could make him do more.
It might not be true at all, but it seems kind of weird when the expectation was always you'll make like most of the other showrunners basically kept like 12 episodes on average a year.
Mm-hmm. He's doing 10, isn't it?
Yeah. They are longer.
It seems like a thing though. Like you're like a popular. I say young in quotation marks, but you're a hot young like
I think
TV
he's probably in his 50s.
Is he 50s, 40s? I don't know. He was
Is
young in the 80s, like maybe 40s, but he's out there making stuff, and I can see him not wanting to be locked down to Doctor Who forever. Because, like, I guess because Moffat was, but he also got to make Sherlock at the same time, and like Spielberg had him writing Tintin, and like he was always doing like mad stuff like that. So I can see him wanting to get in, and then maybe do 2 seasons with his doc.
It seems like the kind of role you would only take over if you had like a longer term plan. And I guess the BBC wouldn't want you to take over if you didn't have like a slightly longer term plan.
So far, we've not really seen a longer term plan. We've just seen like Monster of the Week episodes, kind of hitting specific tropes.
Yeah, no, but there is like a vision for his Doctor Who. Like,
aye, but like that, the vision for his Doctor Who being just like we're just doing Doctor Who as Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So if he did like a season of that, that would kind of fit with the episode structure as well.
I guess, but like if you're looking at it from a production kind of view, the BBC don't want to hire a showrunner every year and then all the different.
Although, I mean, in the 80s, like
apparently, like a lot of the people who work in like they kept like a lot more of the, or is it totally different? I forget. Like,
what do you mean?
Like they really suffer when like they have to change like a lot of the people behind the scenes.
Oh, aye, absolutely. That's production difficulties. Yeah. You want your person in charge at the top, and you want it to be smooth, and you want that to last as long as possible and get all the money and all that sweet dollar, all that merch.
But yeah, that was I have no idea the truthfulness of it.
I've heard it swirling.
There's probably a grain of truth to it, but it's probably overhyped.
Well, I don't know, because like, is he angry that he's popular? Like, presumably they want to give him lots of money to do more.
Presumably,
and like, what's he going to do? Is it Broadchurch 3? Did that happen?
Presumably, they're like, yeah, we're going to make you do more episodes than we're the plan, but here's like this better contract because you've done a good job so far. Like,
also, how many episodes of Torchwood did he make?
Like if he was basically in charge like series 1 and 2,
and was RTD all of Children of Earth, and then
RTD was
that American fourth season.
That I hear that went places. That had like 20 episodes.
That's an American style season.
Show, yeah.
That's kind of a weird, because wasn't that out at the height of kind of like 13 episode Netflix show?
No,
I can't know. Was that before it?
Because that was like 2011. Like
was 2011 really? Jeez,
the first Netflix original series was House of Cards in 2013.
Alright, that's not very watchable anymore.
No.
I hear they're doing like another season, but without...
They did another season.
Did they do it?
That is the last season. I hear
Good
it's
God.
terrible.
Yeah. Does the president just not happen? Like what?
Well,
like how do you approach that? Baby Driver as well. I feel for Baby Driver.
I know.
Edgar Wright just can't catch a break.
Kevin Spacey was the president, and then in the last series, but I think what was already happening is that his wife was going to take over, and then this whole thing went down, and then they just killed off.
Did they kill him?
They killed him off camera.
Did the vice president kill him? That's like
I forget how they got it. So.
In films and in like TV, the only person that can properly kill a president is a vice president. Like that's.
Well, I guess she must have been president because she became president.
I've never actually seen an episode of either that or the British version. I know there's a British version.
There is a British, it's like super 90s, like.
Oh right.
Or late.
I thought it was like a
60s
thing.
No, it's like relatively recent.
But
we should get on to talking about Kerbalm.
I want to talk about Kerbalm. Like, I don't think Kerblam's. I think it's a great episode name, but I don't think it's like a fantastic name for an Amazon knockoff.
Yeah, well, I think it's because they wanted like, oh yeah, if you want it, Kerbalm it. Like they want that.
Yeah, they wanted like the cheesy kind of thing.
I quite like the visual work in this episode. Like, it was pretty visually strong. Like we had like the robots were cool.
Yes.
We had like all the posters and stuff. My favorite one was Live Your Best Life with Kerbalm.
I thought it looked pretty cheap as well.
It did look cheap, but also it had a lot of sets. Like they went places.
It had sets, but it had like corridors, which I'm never going to complain about corridor sets in Doctor Who. But like
that's what Doctor Who is. It's corridor sets and running.
It kind of feels like they blew a lot of the budget on their kind of was it South Africa?
Yeah,
which didn't really improve that episode all that much. And then they had their fun Kaplan episode, and like it was fine because it was going to be in corridors anyway, but. It did.
They had that.
It looked fun.
They had the main. They had like the office. They had like the corridors. They had the worky bits.
That office, I laughed at quite a lot because like I was like, there's this planet-sized warehouse, but they've got this relatively tiny office. I thought. I mean, like that could have played into the episode as well because they had the whole. The only 10% of the workforce is like human, and it's like mostly mechanized. but like they didn't really comment on that. It was just this was like a set they had. Like it never reaches like the apex of River Song's car park prison.
No.
Like the Storm Cage facility will never be bested. Like they were doing better like car park sets in Red Dwarf in the 80s than they did with that Storm Cage set.
Yeah, the episode begins. They're all in the TARDIS. There's like a thing coming towards it. The doctor's like, "What's this? I'm confused."
Oh, there's a threat.
Ah.
I mean, I didn't feel she was that confused this episode. I know I can always talk about how like the Doctor's main like emotional state right now is confused. I didn't feel it that much in this episode, but at the start she was like, "What? Things are happening," and then like the Kerbalm man teleported.
I love that. That was maybe like my favorite. One of my favorite parts of the episode is how excited the Doctor got about the Kerbalm
Yes,
man.
yeah.
She's like, it's the Kerbalm man.
It perfectly captured the sheer magic of having things delivered. Like I know we're like so many years deep into Amazon just being a thing.
It's
But
magic.
anytime like a box comes, it's like, oh my god, there's a box. And so I will give whoever was it not Chibnall this time?
Who was?
I don't know.
It was. I've forgotten the writer's name.
Writer that's not Chibnall. Great work on capturing the sheer magic.
Something McTague.
Oh, we should probably know.
We should know.
We should probably know. But aye, that was magic. I was a bit like how.
What do we think about the Fez?
I have mixed feelings about the Fez. Before we get to that, though, as a pedantic nerd, I want to know like how does the Kerbalm man get into the TARDIS? Because like the TARDIS is like a god machine thing, and like it's meant to be.
They can teleport.
They can teleport, but like if a Kerbalm man can teleport into the TARDIS, then literally anyone in the universe can.
You're right.
And like. I don't necessarily need every single thing to be explained forever.
Didn't the Doctor like work out it was like a delivery before she got it though?
She
like,
did.
Not, like,
so I don't know if
she she was worried about it when there was just sort of a big threat, but then she
think...
realised it wasn't, and there was something that she wanted to let in.
Yeah, and like again, I don't need them to be like, I'll press the button to let it in, like because that's not what it's about, and that's not what the emotional moment of that scene was. It was her getting an Amazon package, but it just sitting there, I was like. You could say that maybe you could just show her like flipping a switch. Like it doesn't have to be a focus. You know, she's moving about. She flips the switch, and then I can be pacified and knowing that, you know, not anyone in the world can just get into a TARDIS.
Yeah.
But the Fez.
I like the implication that it was someone that Matt Smith had
Yeah, I like that as well. We've talked about this because I had to talk about it because the Fez scene
back to that galaxy, and then whenever she appeared,
or the timelines or whatever.
The timelines
they should show
up.
more of that vortex effect from episode 2.
Well, the one where like they went in and then you got like the central
the hub bit, and there was loads of holes.
Yeah,
yeah.
You did see the vortex in this episode, but it was just a normal.
Yeah.
They're normal.
We don't have the budget for that. We can even reuse the same.
Every showrunner has a different vortex.
Oh, aye. That's fine. I remember I was a bit put off by the Moffat era one. Like it was kind of blue and pinkish.
Just blue and orangey kind of.
Why am I thinking pinkish? Was there like a pinkish shot? Did Capaldi's get pinkish?
Yeah, maybe. Capaldi did have like a pinkish one. He had two different titles, didn't he?
Yes.
No.
Or did he have Matt Smith's second?
I think
Probably.
Matt Smith had a second. Matt Smith's second titles were more sort of purpley.
That's maybe what I'm thinking of then. The Fez scene was either leaked ahead of time because it was the day before.
I think what happened was
they leaked it themselves.
No, I think what happened. Children in Need happened.
Oh, Children in Need happened.
And do you remember how Children in Need just get good stuff like specials from like that you'd never seen before?
Time Crash.
Yeah, Time Crash.
Time Crash. Top content. Get Peter Davidson in stuff.
Incredible content. But I think Children in Need doesn't get as good stuff as it used to, so I believe that may have been the Doctor Who thing.
Side tangent here. I saw some new Mr. Bean that I've never seen. It was like Children in Need stuff.
Oh yeah, there was like a comic relief Mr. Bean sketch from like 2 years ago. Was that a wedding or something?
I think he was at a funeral. The one I saw, he was at a funeral, and it did not feel like Mr. Bean at all. It was really, really sad.
Aww.
Like it wasn't super bad, but like Mr. Bean's a high like standard.
Yeah.
And it very felt...
You expect quality.
Expect quality, and it felt very like... Just kind of... We'll watch it, and then we'll do a podcast about it. But so the children need this year, they had the Fez theme, do you think?
I believe that's why they released it.
That seems fair. That seems fun. Like...
Because none of the other episodes were releasing scenes ahead of time.
No, well, there's new clips I want to say about the witch hunters, so they might do a couple.
I don't go on the Doctor Who website.
I just go through Instagram and like I see like clips and stuff. The Fez thing is fine, but like I don't know why they keep harking back to Moffat. Because this is like a fresh break season, you know? Why are you referring back to the Beast?
What are you on about?
Like, Moffat isn't well liked. Like, the narrative, if we're going to bust out the word narrative, is that Moffat is a fallen creator. Like, he was cast out. The Beast... I've heard... it's a wide spectrum as well, because I've heard, like, super nerds being like, glad Moffat's gone. And I've also heard, like, common people in the street being like, well, I'm glad that Moffat's gone. Like, people know what a Moffat is, and they don't want him anymore. They want rid of him. They've had enough.
I think you're reading too much into it.
I might be. Like, I was shocked to hear that he was actually getting that vampire series off the ground.
I think you're reading way too much.
I don't know. Like, you don't see a lot of love for Moffat at all. Like, it's a thing when you like every showrunner is hated after his run finishes. I feel like he was hated midway through his run. I feel like a lot of people turned.
RTD was despised for it.
Oh, absolutely. But like Moffat had that whole like he wrote the best episode, like he wrote blank, and then I feel like I turned on him immediately. If you remember, I was there day one. Like the 11th hour happened, and I had to take that long walk. I'll always remember that long walk. Like I fully admit I had probably too high expectations for him, but I feel like people, because I watch He Who Moans, and he talks about how a lot of people in the community turned against him after the Day of the Doctor, or no, what's the one?
The 50th.
No, not the 50th. What, I keep getting the names confused. The 50th. What's the one after the 50th? The one with Matt Smith's last one.
The Time of the Doctor.
People turned against him there because it was kind of like a realization that his like plots will never resolve, like his mystery box stuff. Like he never follows through on any of his setup.
It doesn't bother me so much.
It doesn't bother me that much. Like the silence will see Palpatine in the TARDIS. Remember that voice?
Yeah.
Like that bothers me. Like why set up like a Palpatine voice and then never really follow through with
They
it?
did have silence though.
They did, but they were like lads in the end. If you remember, like they teamed up with the Doctor and like because it was like a rogue terrorist cell and there's like you know how the TARDIS explodes.
Yeah.
That gets resolved with like a joke. Like he just makes a joke and then it's never mentioned again.
I need to rewatch them.
Oh,
We should talk about Kerbalm.
Kerbalm!
They go on to because inside she gets a fez in the back.
She gets a fez,
So
which
hey, do you like it?
and like everyone's like non-plus.
Because of course they would be.
Yeah, like they don't know that it's a thing, but like your friend's just got like a fun hat.
Yeah.
But like
they could have been more excited.
They could have been more excited, but like the problem there is that like I don't think Ryan had a great scene, to be fair. I can't take away because did you see him with the bubble wrap?
Yeah.
Like he just picked up the bubble wrap and like walked away popping it. That was so far the best Ryan scene. Like I find Ryan a little bit.
Ryan was great in this episode. Though.
I thought he got great, but I thought like his whole like I'm out in space, but I'm like back at work kind of thing. Like I didn't like that. It felt very like classic Who companion kind of moaning. Like the Doctor just takes them to like horrible places.
I like that because it was social commentary. Like
It was. I feel like the social commentary on this episode was a wee bit mixed.
Yeah, well, we can talk about it.
We can.
But yeah, they get the package contains like the ship and slip contains like help me on it.
Mm-hmm.
So the Doctor's like, we need to go to the Kerbalm.
The Doctor's like,
headquarters."
should we help the thing? We should help the thing.
Yeah. So they go to the Kerbalm headquarters.
They turn up.
We get like a good TARDIS materialization scene. I feel like we haven't had a lot of those recently.
Aye, I love the TARDIS materialization scenes from like 60s where it's like clearly like a models like against like a matte painting or like just another model.
Yeah, we get to see them thing outside. They go inside. They talk to we find out she's the head of like human resources.
Gail. Is it Gail?
Yeah.
Gail from Coronation Street.
Yeah.
Is it Gail? No, not Gail.
No, not
Haley.
Gail. It was Haley.
Haley. I've not watched Corrie in a while.
Yeah.
I have a problem where if a character dies in a soap, I assume they die in real life. And I was like, she's alive. I thought she killed herself. Wasn't that the plot?
I think did she die of cancer in the show?
I think she was going to, and then she didn't.
I think you're right.
Did she get Roy to kill her? Yeah.
She did, yeah.
Good God. That was really sad.
Yeah.
Which I know that was what they were going for, but not fun at all.
And now it means you get to guest star in Doctor Who.
You get to guest star in Doctor Who, and there was a lot of good middle manager characters in this episode. Doctor Who does fantastic work with middle managers. I keep wanting to call her Gail. Haley I thought she was pretty good. I thought she was pretty, and they had a whole thing.
You were expecting her to be a villain, but she just wasn't.
That was the episode, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of been the series.
Yeah.
Maybe because that's kind of the overarching theme so far. Spoilers for the episode, but the thing that you think is going to be the villain isn't the villain.
Yep.
And that happened with the Bat Assassins.
There was a villain, though.
There was a villain. We'll get to him. We'll get to... I can't remember his name. Or... Charlie. They go, and the episode is the most...
They get a job at the Kerbalm factory.
It's the most PG rated Black Mirror style thing done thus far. A lot of the episodes I want to say this season have been quite Black Mirror-y.
Yeah, they're going for a
social commentary. Oh, thank you. Is that 2 keys? Lovely. There. Social commentary and not social commentary, but just
21st century social commentary.
Yeah, kind of modern day. These are the issues that affect us. I think they kind of mishandle their kind of mechanization thing, but in a fun way. They
get jobs, and then they find out that they were like, why are you employing humans? Surely you have the tech to be in this. No, this galaxy has a 10%.
No, it was the planet itself. It wasn't it was because they're a moon. The warehouse, Amazon.
I thought it was a galaxy. Fair enough. It was a planet.
There was a lot of galaxy crack, which I quite liked, because they're it's the biggest retailer in this galaxy. But I think they were because they were we're a moon. This entire complex is a moon-sized warehouse, which I thought was great. Loved that. Doctor should do more big things like that. And they've got 10% of the workforce has to be human because of I wanted to call it Tandokan.
Tandokan, yeah.
Tandokan,
yeah.
Tandoka.
Tandoka,
something like that.
That was the planet.
Labour laws.
They had shuttles between there.
Yeah, they had shuttles, and there's a great line where Lee Mack, who we'll get to in a sec, Lee Mack has a great line where he's I splurged on an economy shuttle, and that was one of the best kind of commentary things in it, because it's very much an austerity future. He has to splurge on an economy spaceship to get a bus, basically a space bus, to get back to his Waynes.
But he never got to see.
He never got to see because Lee Mack dies, which I was a bit sad.
Yeah, so they get jobs. They're assigned roles in the company.
They get ankle tags because that's another if you work for Amazon, you're monitored at all times and
the Doctor originally got the warehouse fulfillment, but then she'd swap tags because she wanted to work in the.
No, she got the maintenance tag, and she swapped with Graham because Graham gets the comedy plot. And he's like, "What am I meant to?" And then he uses busman skills.
That was one of my favorite parts of the episode, the comedy, "Oh, you're the cleaner."
I guess 10% of all departments have to be.
The thing I liked about that little bit was it meant they all had different things to do.
Yes,
that was a great.
That was
for the characters.
Absolutely,
it worked because my complaint is that there's too many companions, but here they were split up.
They all
got to interact with different people, which I really, really liked.
I like it, but at the same time, it's a double-edged sword because this episode did it the best of any episode this season, and it handled the fact they had 3 companions. They still keep adding guest star. They still it works.
There's a lot.
Fair enough, but every episode, I'm screaming, "Stop adding characters!" Are we just gonna have an episode where it's the TARDIS team? Can we get to explore these characters at all?
Yeah, because it was there was Lee Mack, there was the...
Lee Mack teamed up with Yaz, so Yaz had a thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't think she did it particularly memorably. I can't actually remember what she did other than not witness Lee Mack die.
I quite enjoyed Yaz in this episode, though. She was fine.
Aye, but it's still kind of a problem.
She didn't, she was hanging out with Lee Mack. I feel like we found out more about Lee Mack than we found out about Yaz. It used to be a continuing problem. But there's a lot like Mac. Yaz had some empathy for Lee Mac. Like,
It's such a dumb thing because you should be finding out more about Yaz by finding out more about Lee Mac. It should be like a mirror thing. Like, is that what they're trying to do? But they're failing at doing it. How did we learn more about her grandmum than herself?
Yeah. They were going about the warehouse. They were picking up all the stuff.
Aye.
The deliveries.
The warehouse is like segmented, and there's like a human bit, and there's 10,000 human workers, of which Haley is the human resources manager.
Yeah.
They all get assigned jobs. Lee Mac, I guess, is a picker.
Uh-huh.
And
they all had different coloured high-vis.
They did. I feel like the high-vis looked quite cheap.
It did. It's like they went down to like screw fix.
There's a guy in Calendar Square selling high-vis now. It looks like they went and got some high-vis off him.
And then they like got like a vinyl printer and put Kerbalm on.
Yeah. The doctor.
I just love how in like whatever year the future this took place in, they still just had like regular.
I'm not sure it was the future because it was like an alien planet. It might because they did a thing in the second episode where they're like, "Oh, you're human," and like the human character that you thought were human were like, "No, we're blah 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 and blah blah blah," and that's kind of a Doctor Who vibe where there's just humans in space that are humans but aren't from Earth.
Yeah.
But the Doctor gets put into processing where
They were the ones that were putting the shipping labels on the boxes.
I'm just eating cookies now.
They received like the pack and then they had to like wrap them all up and put them together
and
put them down into shipping.
And we got some exposition there about like why the labour laws exist. And
You're not allowed to go down into shipping.
You're not allowed to go down into shipping because that's where the robots are. That's completely mechanised, and there's not even like stairs or lifts. And Ryan's there with her, and they meet another character. Like again, another character.
Yeah.
I forget her name. She's a woman.
Oh, what was her name?
Lady. Packing positive person. She was very positive about the terrible future in which she lives, where like she got one present in her entire life and it came from Haley, and when that line came up where she got like a small package of like chocolates and it was from the human resources manager, I was like, oh, are they setting this up to make us think that like Haley's nice but actually she'll be evil later on? No, it was just a nice thing that she did, which is great. That's like fantastic. Then there's Bradley Walsh.
Bradley Walsh. He's the cleaner. He meets. I'm pretty sure it was Charlie.
I'm pretty sure his name was Charlie, and like they were in like a soundproofed maintenance room. You know those things that YouTubers put on the wall, the foam.
Yeah.
Like that was like I was like, why is the maintenance room soundproofed? Like, are they just filming this in like? I suppose maybe he sound. Oh, that's good environmental storytelling. It's totally not because they filmed in like a recording studio.
Yeah.
Like why? Like.
There's like cleaning products everywhere.
I liked the Doctor's thing about like, oh, you can be the cleaner of Bradley Walsh, and like no one ever notices them, so you can do some spy work and get a map of the complex because we'll need it. And I was just like, why don't you already have like a map? Like surely there'll be one on like every room. Like it's the future. Like it's not like a game where you have to like plug yourself into a terminal to get the map of the map. But like I feel like they have to go like Bradley Walsh he befriends Charlie the cleaner. And then they go to like the archives because they've got like a map of when the planet or the moon was first built.
Yeah, because like they needed like an OG.
Yeah, it's fun, but
like
like
this, there's like there's the robots who all have the same design as the Kerbalm mailman one. Some of them were high-vis.
Some of them are different because that's like a plot point because. There's mailman ones and there was not mailman ones, and I couldn't notice the difference. I feel like they messed it up a couple of times.
Well, like the not mailman ones were these jackets.
And they were another like social commentary where like Yaz and Lee Mac were doing Lee Mac jokes, which I quite appreciated. See when you get Lee Mac, you want him to be Lee Mac.
I feel like they killed off Lee Mac too early. Like,
they did.
She was about for more of the episode.
But he got his Lee Macisms in there.
Did.
And then he went down to one of the warehouses that people go to but never come back from, he did it because like he liked Yaz, and he's like, no Yaz, it's your first day, I'll go in there and die.
Well, like he had kids.
Yeah, he established he had kids. And
he had a lot to live for.
I know, like we as viewers are like, I was like, yeah, what you doing? Like, you're not actually working here. Why are you taking his why are you letting him go die? Because he's clearly about to die. It's not your first day.
You know there's bad things going on at this factory.
Yeah, you're investigating people that
You've
need
been
help.
a Doctor Who companion for like 7 episodes,
and,
you know.
And presumably adventures in between as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine in universe. She doesn't know, but like watching it is just really frustrating because you're like, you're not new here. You're an investigator. Go investigate.
All for it is like power, temporary losses of power.
Like it happens
Why
like
is that?
twice.
It happens like a few times, yeah.
And then like it goes
and then
red.
Eventually it happens again. It goes red, and then they all get sent out on a forced break.
Oh yeah.
So this amazing scene where there's just like an idyllic garden where they all have their breaks, which I love. You only saw it for like 5 minutes, but they put a lot of effort into it.
They did. That was the scene where the teams all got back together
and discussed, and that's how they like Bradley found out he needed to get the map.
Most
we had
of
a
the
scene of Charlie awkwardly interacting with the girl, the doctor.
yeah,
they clearly fancied each other.
And like Bradley Walsh gets some good comments on that. Like again, Bradley Walsh is like the heart and soul of the show, which is great. But disappointing for Doctor Who. I
enjoyed the Doctor in this episode, though. Like,
yes!
She had a lot of good lines. Can I just say, the dialogue in general, like, a lot more snappy.
A lot more snappy.
Genuine step up, which is worrying, because this man is not the showrunner.
It's a genuine step up. It still doesn't feel great, though, like...
There was a lot more, like, fun dialogue.
It felt like a kind of standardy Doctor Who. Like, we're enjoying ourselves. Like, there's nothing really horrible going on. The power, like, they investigate, because there's another middle manager, there's yet another character. There's, like, this guy who's, like, clearly an evil guy, because he comes in and he says something to the positive woman, who's been established to be nice and positive, and then he's like, blah, 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 blah. And then the Doctor, like, that's what he says, that's
literally... He goes to the office.
Well, no, the Doctor has a moment with him, because he says something rude, or bullying, and then the Doctor has a moment where she stands up to his middle manager. She told him down, right?
I feel like, oh yeah, I love that. That was great. He was like, you're not going to be a good manager by being horrible to people. You need to be nice to people. Like, that was good. That was good,
but it exposes a larger problem, because I'm vaguely certain that's the first person she's stood up to. Properly, and he's like a kind of slight bully who's not even, because he's like kind of the highest ranking guy there, but because of the plot of it being a mechanization thing, he's not high ranking at all. And also, like, it keeps happening through the episode where it's like, oh, he's probably the villain, but he's not the villain. He's actually a cool guy that's been investigating these disappearances. He was just a wee bit rude to his worker. And then, like, it's great. It's 100%. The Doctor should be standing up and having those moments. But he's like, he's not even anything.
It's weird that she did that to him and not Donald Trump.
Not Donald Trump. Not any of the racists. Which, like, we've talked about that at length. But, like, again, that was because, like, if this was the past... Like, if this was slavery, right? If this was, like, American slavery in the 1800s or whatever, but 1700s? I'm not good on timelines, but...
17, yeah.
Would the Doctor, like, sit up to a plantation owner? Like, could you have the Doctor, like, say that?
So.
You'd hope so, but, like, also, you can't, because the tone of the series is they're not stepping on history like that. But, because it's a space feature, she gets to.
I enjoyed that scene anyway.
Oh, I enjoyed it. It was just really, like... This is like it's 9 episodes in or something. Or
yeah, then they go to the office.
That office I liked, but was terrible.
I spent a lot of time in this office.
There was
the middle manager man like had wrote down the names of the people who had
on
paper.
Because like they had like light up clipboards that felt very like 2005 RTD neon, and then they had like a filing cabinet that was like a proper beige wooden metal thing. And that was like a plot point. It's like, if it's all mechanized and all.
They went into it and just found what they needed immediately.
The Doctor just like flips it. I want to say, she has like a. Did she have like a thing about stealing there, or did I dream that? Where like, they leave and come back, and they hide.
Oh yeah, they had in the cleaning cupboard.
They go through this like great terrible corridor, and then they just like pop a panel, and then they're like, oh, you've never had like a panel before. You've never lived. Yeah. That was great. And then like I feel like there was another.
There was a callback to Wasps.
Did you ever
referenced Agatha Christie? Wasp episode.
Did you ever think the unicorn and the wasp would get a reference in season 11?
Nope, but it did, and that was great. It's weird because like all the like I've met famous people references from this Doctor have been ones we haven't seen, but that was
Einstein's wedding. Yeah, I think she references people a little bit much.
She does.
But that was great. High point of the episode for me. I get a bit muddy here because lots of things happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of plot. Like they're in the office finding the names. I think they confront the.
They confront the guy and they're like, "Why do you have a list of the missing? Clearly, you're killing them or doing something." And he's like, "What? I've been investigating them." And she's like, "All right, cool."
And then they have like another power cut, and then they have like a total power short.
Yeah, like it goes red.
And then one of the creepy robots appears and confronts Charlie.
Yes,
which pushes him against the wall.
And like punches the wall.
Starts strangling him. And then the Doctor manages to dehead one of the robots.
I believe it was Haley.
It was Haley. No, you're right. It was Haley.
Haley just like rips its head off.
Which is a classic Doctor Who robot move, ripping the head off. And they always have like wires.
And sparks. There was like a good scene where she was like, the Doctor was taking it over to the desk and like sparks. Yeah. She was like, whoa.
Be careful.
Yeah. They get info from it, I want to say. Like, it's hard to remember this part of the episode for some reason, but
they get like info from it, and then they realise they need to go get like there's a lot of plot. They need to go get like the original
delivery bot.
Original delivery bot.
It's called like Swirly or Flippy or.
It was like a comedy cute robot.
Yeah, and they plug it into the mainframe, and they're like, "We need you to do this thing." And he's like, "But I'm just a delivery guy." And like, would you like one of these items? And it's like cease upselling like protocols. And he's like, but I'm only here to deliver an upsell. Like, what can I do if I can't, like... I loved him. He was great. They plug him in, it immediately explodes. And I was like, really? Are we going to have to do something else to get the info? And then, no, it just, like, works.
They get the info. They realise they have to go to packing.
Or
shipping.
Shipping or packing or something.
Get there, and then, obviously, you just go down the slide.
That was Ryan's moment. He's like, yeah, I did this at my work. I know he's northern. He has a dyspraxia moment where he's like, he takes him to the shoot, and it's like, is it Yaz, Ryan, and Charlie?
Yaz, Ryan, and Charlie, and they had like an action.
They're all.
The Doctor never got the action.
No, well, she was doing tech work or something.
I forget how she ended up getting down there eventually.
They just teleport because like they have the.
Oh yeah, that's why they use they would use the robot to teleport there.
But they do this thing where like Ryan's excited to do his action thing and he knows what he's going to do, but then he gets to the shoot and he's like, I have to tell you, I've got dyspraxia. And then he has like a moment where he explains his dyspraxia a little bit, and then they just do it anyway, and it's fine, and it's like it reminded me of the
it's literally like that scene from the Goonies.
It's like cheaper. It looked alright. Like, it didn't look great.
It didn't look great, but you could tell it was all CG.
Yeah. It reminded me of the droid factory scene in Star Wars Episode 2, which is a very dated piece of CGI, if you want to have a peek at that. I remember watching Episode 2 and not knowing that all the clone troopers are like CGI. Like, it wasn't noticeable in 2002. It is now.
I think I was like that with Spider-Man 1. Like, I thought Spider-Man 1 looked amazing when I was a kid.
Oh, I was kind of a bit scared of Spider-Man 1. See Norman Osborn's transformation.
Because see, the thing with Spider-Man 1 is all the swinging scenes are CG.
Well, it's CG and mannequin based. Yeah. There's that one famous scene.
But Spider-Man 2, they introduced the swinging camera.
All right. Yeah, I've not watched Spider-Man 1 properly in a long while. I've seen chunks of it on Channel 5.
Back to formula.
Willem Dafoe's having a fantastic time in that film.
Willem Dafoe was incredible.
Top tier actor. He's playing Van Gogh. Like that. I think we talked about this maybe on the podcast, but he's playing Van Gogh, and like I saw an interview, and he's like, he's Van Gogh is known for his like kind of depression, kind of manic artist kind of thing. But I think they were doing like a happy Van Gogh, like, and there's just like a scene of him smiling, and I was like, yes, they're using his main asset there, the terrifying smile. He's also in Aquaman.
Yeah,
he rides a shark.
I saw the trailer for Aquaman at the cinema.
Oh yeah, yes. So did we. It looked great.
It looks quite good, actually.
It looks like they saw Ragnarok.
Yeah, it looks stylish like Ragnarok. Like
it probably will be nothing like style of Ragnarok.
The thing that I really liked about that trailer, like, it looks like Ivan Rice. Like, it looks like we translated like his style into film, which fair play.
Oh, absolutely. The scenes in those trailers, and I think the film in general is just going for that arc.
Yeah.
Or like those kind of condensing the first 3 Geoff Johns arcs.
Like the water looked dynamic, like his art did. Like.
Do you remember the Atlantis scene in Justice League?
Vaguely.
It's so murky and grey and horrible, and he goes there to get a trident, I want to say.
It's weird that Mera looks like Mera, but Aquaman doesn't look like Aquaman.
Have you seen? There's a. I don't know if it's in the trailer, but there was a promo out where he's wearing the green trousers and the gold,
Nice.
but he's still Jason Momoa. Like it's kind of weird, but like it's Aquaman. Like I like Aquaman, but fair play. Like do whatever you want.
I'm glad that they live in a world where there's a massive multi-million-dollar Aquaman film.
Mhm.
Like,
I really like Aquaman, and they've kind of bungled it. Like, because they were trying to make it like,
even if it's good, no one will see it.
even if it's good, no one will see it, and like we might probably love it.
Did you see the trailer for that Spider-Man film, the Spider-Verse?
Oh yeah, Into the Spider-Verse.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, have you not
It
seen
looks
the-
like, I know, but it's like the animation is
Yeah,
just
the stop motion kind
it looks
of,
stop motion.
like CGI clay kind of thing.
Ah!
Yeah, the
Also, Spider-Ham is in a film.
Peter Porker.
Peter Porker.
Yeah, that's you're not seeing you're following the trailers. Like they'd
No,
be
I haven't
great.
seen it.
I love. There's another trailer out there because you saw one. We saw the same one, but there's another one that has more of like standard Spider-Man, and he's very much kind of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. All of his like, because he's voiced by that guy from New Girl, I want to say, who's also in a couple of the Jurassic Park films, and he wears joggies. Have you seen his joggies?
No.
He's wearing the normal Spider-Man suit, but he's just got joggies over it because he's kind of old. Like he's your dad, Spider-Man. But in his trailer, it's lots of shots directly lifted from the Raimi films, where he's like, doing the train thing, where he's like slowing the train and like the upside down kiss and all of that kind of stuff. I'm just gonna unplug things and plug us in. You keep talking because that Spider-Man trailer.
Loved it.
It had the Japanese Spider-Girl with their like mech.
Yeah, and
And,
Spider-Gwen in an actual cinematic release.
Spider-Gwen's
Spider-Gwen.
everywhere. Like
Yeah.
Spider-Gwen's huge.
Fair play. They're just doing it.
Spider-Verse was a good Dan Slott Spider-Man arc.
Yeah.
How long ago was that? Because I think about it and then like
7 years.
my brain physically.
Spider Island.
Oh, didn't he take over in like
He
2010?
took over in 2010.
My brain doesn't let me process
Next
that
time was
lot.
2010.
We're old.
Yeah.
We can talk about. We can do this in off
He
topic.
does, yeah. We should probably finish
Kerbalm.
this
Yeah. It's hard to talk about episodes that are pretty good
Yeah.
or like
There's just a lot of
acceptable.
plot happening.
There was a lot of plot that happened in the last thing, and it turned out that Charlie.
It turned out that Charlie was the bad guy. He had set up the reason why the power was going down is because he was stealing the power
Stealing the power
in
to
order
put,
to generate a massive charge of robots to deliver killer bubble
wrap. I'm
Killer
indifferent
bubble wrap.
to the bubble. Like I got a bit of emotion out of it on Twitter, where the hashtag, you bar at the side.
Yeah, like the girl Charlie fancied got killed by
The bubble wrap.
that he had created.
That he had created his own hubris. Like Charlie, I guess he's a terrorist. I
Yeah.
guess he's like a corporate terrorist. And his this is where it gets a wee bit muddy
This
for
stuff
me.
was totally weird because it was meant to be like, oh, we're parodying like the present day, how like there's all the robots are going to take over. There's
Yeah.
not going to be no work for humans. Terrible working rights. But then it turns out they're not the actual bad guys.
No, it turned out the person that sent the help me letter was the robots.
Yeah.
Which we speculated about at the start of the
And
episode.
that's why that robot attacked Charlie because
Yeah, that was good setup.
Yeah.
That was good foreshadowing, I guess. But like, it gets a wee bit muddled because the robots specifically murder the girl that Charlie likes.
Yeah.
They like take her away and they're like, "You've won a prize," and then like, you put her in a room. And it's quite horrible, and I quite like because
The body count in this series.
Yes. Well, this is a direct reaction to Moffat because people were like genuinely complaining that no one dies, which I think is a dumb complaint, but here we are. They kill this woman who we can't remember, which I thought was a bit of a shame because she seemed fair enough.
Yeah, she was just doing her work.
She was just dead up. She was very positive about her
Yeah.
terrible work, and then they put her in a room and it's like the TARDIS crew get to her before she pops the bubble wrap and before she reveals that the plot of the episode is killer bubble wrap.
How did he develop this killer bubble?
It's the spacier whatever, like, I don't know how he puts the explosive in the clear see-through thing, but he has. presumably, maybe it's it explodes, but it's kind of like a
gas.
it looks like a gas, but when it explodes at the end of the episode, it looks like a proper explosion, and it kills robots. So I don't know, radiation. You could probably just say radiation.
But yeah,
and
like
get away with it.
Charles is, I was me all along.
It was
I was
me.
fighting for better human rights.
Yeah, it gets muddy because like
because
that's
all the people are going to receive my gifts is going to, oh, it's by the evil company. We're
Yeah.
going to hire humans.
like obviously he's a monster because he was going to kill tens of thousands of humans, but it's a very kind of grey thing because he's fighting not this evil corporation, but he's fighting this system that has horrendously lowered human life
Yeah, like
quality.
all those workers were miserable.
They weren't necessarily miserable, but there was only 10% of them.
Yeah.
And it's presumably the future they live in is like kind of mega city one, like 99% unemployment
Yeah.
thing. So and like it's not even like a thing because like how do you fight that because that's just progress or whatever. But usually these kind of anti-corporate hero are kind of heroes of today kind of thing. You would kind of position this. Yes, he's going to kill millions, and that's where he diverges from the kind of standard thing. But him being angry at this, not necessarily malevolent, but just omnipresent thing, kind of felt really weird. And it especially felt kind of really weird when the Doctor just executes him.
She didn't though.
She did.
No,
She did.
he was there, and then she gave him the opportunity to come with them.
Well, it was like a Disney death thing where like he was killed by his own thing.
Yeah.
Like there's thousands of robots and they're all going to deliver the thing. But she
The
specifically.
the doctor got the robots to deliver to themselves.
Yes, which again we were talking about being pedantic at the start. It doesn't matter because the point of the episode was that this was happening and they were showing the fact that the robots were exploding. I get it, but like she specifically delivered them to that room. She could have just said go to space or like go to the sun because they can deliver to anywhere in the galaxy. They can deliver to a TARDIS.
You're right.
But like I know that's not the point, and the point is the spectacle of the robots dying and like the kind of catharsis of having him die by his own means. But like she condemned him to death there, which he probably deserved because he was about to attempt the murder of tens of thousands. He probably definitely deserved it, but it felt weird at the end of that particular episode because it had been so kind of fun before then. To be fair, Charlie did bring the tone down.
And then he ended up winning because at the end of the episode, Haley was like,
yeah, he does end up winning.
More humans.
Yeah, we're going to make it a people company. So what's the message there?
Yeah, I agree. The message
Attempt to kill 10,000
confused.
people?
The message is always quite hard when you're doing like allegory episodes.
Oh yeah, like I don't know how you would really end that because like it was a horrible feature, but it was also a fun. It was a fun feature, and so like what are you going to do? It just also can you make it a people company? Like how are you going to do that? Like and also there was no higher ups. There was no like because the system was kind of what was running stuff like Amazon and like. One of our friends made a good point about how like the system wasn't innocent because it killed that woman to make a point to Charlie, but it was like killing the work or was he killing the workers? Was he making them disappear? I can't remember anymore. But
they were kind of like the workers got transformed into goo. I don't really know.
Oh yeah, I
forgot about
the bubble wrap is people.
Oh yeah,
I completely forgot about that. That's how memorable that plot point was. It was like a terrible little paddling pool. And there was like a chute, and that's where the workers were going. Yeah. And like, how many people disappeared? Because like he had tens of thousands.
It was like 16, but there was a lot of goo.
There was a lot of bubble wrap. Like, I'm all about them being the kind of like Doctor Who in the 70s had a lot of bubble wrap monsters, or maybe I just had one in an arc in space. But like people have always associated with like, oh, bubble wrap was so scary. Like, fair play, you're making like a meta thing there, where like we've made bubble wrap dangerous. I think they should stop that. Like they've been trying to chase that since Blink. Remember the puddle in like Bill's first episode? Yeah. It's like, oh, puddles are scary. Like, stop. Like, I don't. That's you've mined that. At least stop that for a while. But
we go back to the TARDIS. The episode ends on like a comedy, like close up of the bubble wrap to be all like, should you be scared of bubble wrap?
Yeah. And like Ryan gonna pop it or Bradley or someone was gonna pop it, but Also, I feel like does Janice get a moment where he's like, she wants to deliver Lee Mack's little dog tag?
Yeah, sure, yeah, that.
Which that's again, That's something for Yaz, but you're not showing it. You're kind of just telling us that she wants to.
I really enjoyed this episode.
It was fun. It was definitely a lot of fun. Like there was a lot of bits that were like.
I thought it was pretty pacey. Like the time.
Oh,
was fun.
aye. Like it didn't drag.
I never
much.
got bored. Like
no.
Some of the other episodes I've gotten bored. Like I feel like there's always a point in these episodes between like 30 and 40 minutes, and where you're just like, just end it. This please. Like get to the resolution.
Get to the resolution.
But I never really had that in this episode.
As important I think as Rosa is, I found Rosa the episode itself a genuine slog to get through, like just the minute to minute stuff of it, and that's kind of my benchmark this season for boringness.
I really like Rosa.
No, Rosa's great.
I think my favourite episodes have been the 2 historical ones and this.
That's fair play. I think see if we watch Rosa again.
And the first episode also. The first episode was pretty good.
I think the first episode had a lot of potential, but now is retroactively a little bit worse now that we've seen what the other episodes are.
Yeah, I mean,
which is a bit unfair, but
see if episode 1 was and then it was a banger of a season.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel it just had a good season, but it's not being blowout.
It's not being blowout out. It's been quite forgettable. I've seen people describe it as 7 filler episodes in a row, which isn't necessarily far from the truth.
It's harsh.
It's harsh, but Doctor Who is filler.
I'm
what
really
you want?
annoyed at the fact that we had a reference to Stenza in episode 2 again. Since then we've had nothing.
Unless everything ties back to Stenza. I imagine that Donald Trump will be a human, but a patsy for the Stenza. His policies will be Stenza, pro Stenza or something. We keep assuming that Donald Trump will come back.
He might not.
With the tone, the way this season's been going, I can see Donald Trump not coming back ever again. Even though he definitely insinuated that he was going to be a threat later on. See when he said that thing to the Doctor and then just left. It's a weird one because next week's is Witch Hunter based.
Witch Hunter with Alan Cumming.
Alan Cummings, I'm excited for that.
I never saw the trailer.
Well, you don't miss much because it's only a 10-second long trailer.
Yeah, maybe I did see it at the end.
I feel like it was just witches and I don't know, it would be aliens or time travel or something.
Ooh, and I really like the music in this episode. I had really good music.
People keep saying that the music in episodes, but I can never remember it. I can never remember
It sort of had it was sort of more guitar-y in this episode.
There was a bit. See where Yaz was Lee Mack had died, I want to say, and she was going after him and walking through the lower levels. There was a bit that was very Murray Gouldy, very overbearing, loud music, and it kind of felt like that scene was very quiet originally, and then they just put stuff over it. This episode didn't have a trailer song, did it? You know, Rosa and
no.
What's the other one? There was another one that had a
song.
Yeah, there wasn't there? I don't think. What episodes has there been?
Oh, Orangas in the UK had the Stormzy.
Oh yeah, was there even another one? Was the Punjab one have a song over it as well?
No, it had a sort of Indian music themed version of the Doctor Who.
Oh right, that's what I'm thinking of. There wasn't a Kerbalm
ditty
for.
Song. Oh, that would have been pretty good. Kerbalm it.
Kerbalm it.
Kerbalm it.
The show's so northern, I can't deal with it sometimes.
It's the Kerbalm man.
It's the Kerbalm. Yeah. I don't know. I think I can say that I liked it. But I want to be at the point where I'm yes, that was amazing. Oh my god, this series, Doctor Who.
I don't think Doctor Who's ever that, though.
No, it's never consistently like that. There's 1 or 2 episodes here and there that are this is amazing. But I'm still hyped for it. See when Country File's on.
Yeah,
see when I'm sitting there watching Country File, I'm yes, Doctor Who's coming on.
Yes. And
then the first minute happens, and I'm oh, I don't like this.
I think I've decided that they should bring back the cold opens. I really miss not having the cold opens.
I don't know. I kind of want it to be an hour. See how it's 50 minutes? Why can't it just be an hour?
Even though your complaint is that the episode's dry.
Oh yeah. It bothers me that it's... Why do 50 minutes? Why not just give them the extra 10 minutes?
The answer is because...
America. Yeah. presumably it being 50 minutes like causes problems, didn't they have to cut it out?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they air it in like weird spots.
I mean, they're on streaming services as well. Would be their kind of main. I don't. Is it BBC America that has that?
Yep.
We should do listener questions.
We should do a listener question.
James from Dundee asks.
He sends in a lot of questions.
He does. James listening now, I'm sure. He's our biggest fan. He loves it. He says, will the Doctor... I've not actually got the thing down because I forgot to put it on the document, but the general gist of it was, will the Doctor commit a genocide this season? And what do you think it'll be?
No, she killed a lot of those robots.
She killed a lot of those robots. That's a thing... I wanted to hold off until the question. You can get away with killing robots because they're robots. I know that's a horrible thing to say, and I'm sure our robot masters will hear this eventually, and I'll be subjugated in the future for what I just said. But in Doctor Who and in like sci-fi,
every Doctor has done a genocide or something.
The Doctor, as much as it's not true, the Doctor's only move is genocide. Like, you come to the Doctor with a problem, the Doctor will come back at you with genocide. Like, as much as they're cool guys, mainly genocide based.
Sometimes there's a lot of bad dudes and you need to kill them.
I know there's probably only one or maybe two examples of this, but my recollection is that the Doctor will genocide your race if you come at them. See if you like mildly come at the Doctor with some amount of like hostility, the Doctor will end the continued progress of your entire race. Sometimes the Doctor will blow up like a sun, or like the Doctor will just like convince, because I'm pretty sure that the Doctor convinced all of humanity to murder the Silence on Earth. See in the Moon episodes?
Yeah.
Don't they do like a hypnotic suggestion thing on the Moon broadcast?
Possibly.
Isn't the conspiracy thing that like... Because they've got like perception filters so no one can see them.
Yeah.
But they do a thing where like everyone's watching the lunar... like the moon landing.
Yeah.
So they like... The Doctor's there and the Doctor's just like... kill all the Silence. And then that's got horrendous implications because, like, maybe you just assume that, like, all the men in the world kill the Silence, but, like, do the children join in and killing the Silence? Like, it's such a weirdly horrible thing if you think it through. So, Matt Smith, he's did a genocide. I know the Silence are fine because there's billions of them everywhere, but those Silence on Earth, weirdly dead. I feel like David Tennant genocided everyone every 5 minutes. He killed those spider babies that were like the last of the Arachnos. Like, I know they were going to eat everyone on the Earth, but he drowned them to death.
McGann, Hurt, and Eccleston have killed millions of Daleks.
Exactly.
Billions.
Time Lords. I mean, now they haven't, because like Gallifrey just like Looney Tuned out of existence for a second.
Yeah.
But like, I guess all those Daleks shot themselves. Daleks don't count as well. Like, you can't really...
No.
Like, I know I just counted them there by saying that Big McCoy blew up Scarrow and, like, its son with the Hand of Omega, but, like... It's just a fun... Genocide's such a fun thing in the context of Doctor Who. What was the other question? I put it on the document. Do you have the document up at all?
Didn't need to disturb my phone.
Shona from Sterling asked, oh god, I can't actually remember what she asked. I just put it down before it came through. It was something, you're going to have to check the document.
I'll check the doc.
We're losing viewers as we're floundering. Genocide's not a fun thing. Listen, we've had a lot of fun tonight talking about genocide, but genocide is horrendous. And honestly, the Doctor shouldn't do a genocide this season. The robots, I would say, count as genocide because she made a point of saying that
what everyday item would we use to bomb people?
What everyday item would we use to bomb people is something I'll get to in a second. The robots specifically do count as a genocide because she made a crack about being robo-racist at the start of the episode and saying some of her best friends are robots. And that's in the same episode that she bombed tens of thousands of robots.
Out of necessity.
Out of necessity, but what genocide isn't out of necessity, like, for the Doctor? Like, I'm counting that as a yes.
I assume they could just make more robots in like 10 minutes though.
One of our other friends made a point about how the robots were kind of just tendrils of the AI or whatever it ran thing. That AI should probably go to jail because it did kill that girl to make a point. Yes, it was to make a
Imagine how
point.
horrifying the AI prison would be.
I guess it would just be unplugging it from the internet or like.
GLaDOS.
Yeah. I've not actually played the plot.
HAL 9000.
Yeah, Hal's okay. Hal's a good lad. He just has a bad time. The plot of 2001 is that he has like conflicting orders. Like his job is to keep the astronauts alive. That's what he exists to do. But the company told him not to tell the astronauts about the mission, or like tell them what the actual thing was, and he just couldn't handle that fact. He couldn't handle that he had to lie to them when his mission was to keep them alive. So he killed them. It's a great film. It looks great. Have you seen
I've never seen it. I need to see it.
You should see it, and I think there's probably a good Blu-ray because the model work looks incredible.
Yeah.
What everyday objects would we use to bomb people?
It's a bizarre question.
We can't use bubble wrap, I believe she said was the stipulation.
I get you.
So I don't think they made bubble wrap scary either. The Twitter hashtag said Doctor Who just made an everyday item. It was like hashtag bubble wrap or whatever. Made an everyday item scary, and I was like, no, they didn't. Like, it's very dumb. Like, it's very, very dumb.
I'm not scared of bubble wrap, I have to say.
I do look at those weeping angels in the graveyard, though, so they succeeded there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Famously. I don't know. Would you make hot sauce explodable?
Sure. Hot sauce Molotov.
Hot. God, that'd be like a chemical fire thing. That's horrendous. I don't know. I'd probably be that pedantic nerd, and I'd say I'd make like packing boxes.
Transformers.
Oh God! Like yeah, you transform it and it explodes.
Shouldn't I just want to make bombs?
That was the plot of the episode.
Yeah.
Like, blame Chibnall for okaying it. How did it go out at like 6:30? We'll never know.
It went out. I feel like, why can Doctor Who not keep a time slot? I'm pretty sure next week's episode is also on at 6:30.
I don't think it necessarily matters.
I know, but the whole people always complain because the ratings drop when they change time slots.
Right.
And that was one of the problems. Like that was one of the problems that Capaldi Who had.
Right. Well, the Sunday thing's working out for them.
It is, but
and
if you keep messing about with the time slot.
I totally get you. Is it just God, pardon me. Is it just to accommodate Strictly Come Dancing?
My guess is I don't know what the timing situation.
Because Country File was always on before it.
I don't know what time I think I'm a Celebrity started on Sunday, so I don't know if there was like an attempt to move BBC One schedule down so they wouldn't get hit by I'm a Celebrity. Because I'm a Celebrity is a ratings juggernaut.
I don't think I've ever properly watched it. Not since maybe at age 11 or whenever it started. Do you know who's in I'm a Celebrity this year?
Noel Edmonds. I
had heard that. Do you know who else is in I'm a Celebrity this year?
No.
John Barrowman.
Oh yeah. Doctor Who like.
Yes.
Barrowman!
I think about that Barrowman gif, or like that moment on Nevermind the Buzzcocks.
Which now no longer exists.
It no longer exists. It hasn't for like a decade, but that moment.
It's sad that we live in a world where there's no more Nevermind the Buzzcocks.
Is it? Like,
it was,
I favoured it, but like.
Well, it was never great.
No, but it did have episodes where. Yeah.
It was like
a lot of
everything
shows.
was right with the world when Nevermind the Buzzcocks was just there.
I watched it mostly during was it Simon Ansell?
Simon Ansell, yeah.
And then the rotating presenter thing. They nicked that from.
They nicked that from.
Have I Got News for You? Yeah, I used to watch Have I Got News for You as well. Back when I had access to Dave, I used to watch a lot of things. They used to make a David Hasselhoff program where he played himself, and like I love David Hasselhoff, but a lot of my respect from him comes from that show because it was just him making fun of himself for half an hour every week. It's pretty good. I would recommend it. I don't remember. I think it was just called David Hasselhoff. I've never actually watched that much Knight Rider. No. The most of it I've seen is at like pub quiz nights where they're like, "Hey, Knight Rider." Make packing boxes themselves explodable because like, how many people actually pop the bubble wrap? I'm sure it's a big amount, But like,
considering the amount of people who buy on, like, people probably get like 10 packages a day. They'll occasionally pop some bubble wrap, but I don't think people are systematically doing it like they used to.
yeah. I mean, we'll pop the bubble wrap, but will normals pop the bubble wrap? We'll just throw it away,
Don't know.
and it'll like explode in a ravine somewhere
And the sea.
in the sea,
It'll
the
kill
plasticky
Yeah.
sea. That's probably there's probably other listener questions because I took some when the episode happened, but that's been many days
There's
from
men
now.
in the dock.
We'll do off topic because we've kind of stabbed at that for a bit. We saw trailers. We saw Grindelwald. We saw the crimes o' Grindelwald. What did you think of it? Even in brief.
I enjoyed it. Like, I hadn't seen the first one.
You haven't seen the first one, which I think is quite mad. Normally I'm like jump into things, and I don't even think Grindelwald is that lore heavy, but there's a lot of like.
I had that just explained to me.
Did it just help with like credence?
What? Not credence. No, like, it helped the fact that I knew you had like a TARDIS treasure thing, and like I knew about like all the no mages.
The nomad. I really like the can't spell.
Can't spell.
Can't spell's a great one. I wonder, does it? Do you know who that's for? Is it like the Chinese magic or?
I don't know.
Yeah. But I'm not a big Harry Potter guy, and my girlfriend is. She loved every second of it. I liked it as well. Like, I really, really liked Grindelwald.
Spoilers for Grindelwald.
Spoilers, because you weren't expecting this, but the Crimes of Grindelwald, spoilers. It was a Bond film for quite a lot of it. Like, it really felt like a kind of magical Bond film, cutting about Paris and like...
The Paris stuff was really cool. I loved that we got to see
Specifically-
the Paris Diagon Alley.
Yeah, which I thought was a bit risky, because it was like a statue kind of not necessarily lifting her skirt, but
It looked
lifting it slightly
it looked quite
aside.
hard to get into.
Yeah.
And then I guess, do they just not use like flu powder or like...
Well, I'll have to quote...
Or port keys?
There wasn't necessarily a new mode of transport, because you know how JK likes to put a new mode of transport in every film?
Yeah.
I don't think there was necessarily one in this film. Well, I tell a lie, there was a giant cat dragon that could teleport,
Yeah.
that could leap great distances. It felt like the cat bus from Totoro. I've heard a lot of people...
My favourite character was Jacob.
Jacob. Oh, Kowalski. Kowalski's
Yeah.
incredible. You should watch the first one. Kowalski is a lot better than the first one. I liked him a lot.
I
in
enjoyed
this.
him.
He gets a lot of time because he's kind of the emotional heart of the first one.
I'd say he's the emotional heart of this also.
He is, but in the first one he's got a lot more because he starts the film, he's going to the bank to get a loan.
Is that how he gets caught up?
He gets caught up, he's going to the bank and the Nifflers invade the bank. So he meets Newt there and they switch suitcases. At one point he's got a suitcase full of bakery goods because he's it doesn't come across in this one at all, but he's a baker. And he works in like a cannon factory, and he has this he's talking to the loan guys, and he's like, I'd like a loan. He fought in World War One.
Wow.
He's like, and that gives his like line in this film about not another war, a lot of weight, because like he was one of the expeditionary forces from America, and he has like a whole thing about like they're like, oh, you work in a cannon factory, and he's like, yeah, I went to like Europe and fought in the war there, and then came back, and there wasn't many jobs. So I've been working in the cannon factory, but it grinds you down. So I'm trying to get a loan, and he's like
live the American dream.
He's like that character, and he's great. And I think he's good in this one as well. But you should really, I would recommend.
My favourite part was when they went to Hogwarts and then they played the
Yeah.
Jude Law was a great Dumbledore.
Dude, that was a revelation. Like I've only seen Jude Law in one film.
I have stole this from a tweet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at what point did Dumbledore just go from wearing normal clothes to like wearing like Dumbledore wizard?
Maybe it'll be like a Darth Vader moment in the next film.
Yeah,
where, like,
there's gonna be like 5 of these.
He's like killed Grindelwald, and like that's his like, I guess not turned to darkness, but like his kind of like I'm an old wizard man now. I love his beard. Like he's kind of it's getting on for growing out, and like.
I loved young McGonagall.
The young McGonagall is like a point of contention.
Is it?
Because like
is this why? Because like is she? Oh yeah, because
she like, was established to not be
that old.
Yeah, which I don't think matters that much because it got an incredible line out of her in this film.
It did.
Like her wished line is fantastic.
There's stuff. This is like what 1920s. This is 1920s.
Was it 1920s or 1930s? I can never. It said at the start of the film.
Maybe it was 1920s something.
She's not meant. She's already a professor. She's Professor McGonagall. She's already a professor when Newt's at school as well.
Yeah.
So she's very old, and I think it's worth it for her line, basically.
Yeah.
You could say it's her mum, but I think that's such a contrivance that it can't possibly be.
I think she probably. J.K. Rowling would know this.
I think it comes up in a book. I think it's said.
Probably just decided I'm going to take the hit on this just because you can't not do
the
it.
The Weesh line.
You can't not have McGonagall if you're in.
Well, you're doing a prequel, so you want to see young versions of old characters, and it's fine.
It's like a contrivance that just works, and because
it's a big crowd pleasing moment. Like it's fine.
Who are you gonna annoy more? You're gonna annoy less people by doing that than you are going to Hogwarts for the general audience and not seeing young McGonagall. That's probably the way she rationalized.
Yeah. I mean, who are you going to see young version of us that you would get a reaction?
Like Dumbledore, that's it.
Yeah. Maybe we can't even do like young Snape because he wouldn't be born for many decades, or like don't even know who would.
Like Tom Riddle didn't go to Hogwarts like a decade after this.
When they killed that baby, I was like thinking maybe that because then Grindelwald and his Nazi crew.
Yeah, they are just Nazis.
They are just Nazis. I keep calling him Space Hitler. I forget why, but he's just Space Hitler. See that bit at the end where it cuts to like the wolf's nest, like the Nazi bunker in the castle in a mountain. I was laughing my feet because they were hammering home that he's just Wizard Hitler, and then they were like, "Yep, he's just Wizard Hitler," and I was like, "Oh my god!" But they walk into like a French house at one point and they kill a couple, and then they have a bit of banter, and then it's revealed there's a baby in the next room, and then they one of his like Nazi Bond girl. You know how there's like an evil Bond girl type. He just has one of them. She just like screams him to death, kind of off screen, but you see the foof. And like before she killed him, I was like, is this going to be like Tom Riddle? Is this his start of dark? But apparently he has a lot.
That's literally what happened to Harry Potter. They tried to do exactly the same thing.
Oh yeah,
he lived.
He lived, right? That's cool. I didn't think about that parallel. Yeah. Johnny Depp's a very problematic man.
Yeah, I thought he was alright in this.
Yeah, but I thought
wasn't like outstanding.
He's really bad in the first one because he just turns up because he's Colin Farrell. He's Colin Farrell for most of the film, and then transforms into Johnny Depp, and it's really jarring and really because Colin Farrell like really sells it for a lot of the film, and then you're like, why can't you just be Colin Farrell?
Yeah, J.K. Rowling seemed to be obsessed with getting Johnny Depp to play Grindelwald.
There's like many forms of Grindelwald in this film because he's got his like long hair prison look. He's got his like I want to say a year out of date like Pidgeotto cut, and then he's got I feel like his mustache changes between scenes as well. I feel like he's got like a kind of fuller one, and then they trim it not to be Hitler, but they get on for Hitler, and then he's got his like young like attractive elf self from the Dumbledore. See the pulling back from they didn't pull back. They had the line where Dumbledore was like, we were like closer than brothers or whatever, like because the whole like they were lovers.
Yeah.
They don't outright say it, which I think is a disappointment.
They went more like because it was my understanding they wouldn't reference it at all.
Yes,
which they did. To be fair,
they did. They mixed their bodily fluids at one point, which fair play to them. But the whole plot is like, Dumbledore, you're like this OP wizard, go deal with Wizard Hitler.
No, he's just hiding out at Hogwarts.
He's like, I can't. And like, it was one of those things where it's like, just tell them why you can't. Like, tell them because it's a magic thing. They're wizards, they'll understand. But like, he's like, no, I can't. And then, by the end of the film, he can. So like, next film, we'll have like a Grindelwald wizard fight. You know how you get like the prequel thing where like you know how things are gonna go, so it kind of like robs the weight of things. But I kind of feel it like I'm happy enough kind of watching it. Like young Dumbledore and I want to know how their fight goes because presumably Grindelwald gets deaded.
That's the thing. I don't think it's been written.
It's not been like written, but like we know that everything's fine by the time of Harry Potter. I say fine, but like
we know Dumbledore survived.
Yeah, and he's moderately okay. Like. We know that Newt's alive, because Newt appears on the Marauders map at one point.
Does he?
Yeah, there's a wee, I guess it's like a gag.
Are you sure?
Yeah, in the film, definitely. I don't know if it's stated in the book or
Bear in mind that could just be an Easter egg, because they had no intention of doing the next Commander
I know,
series
but
of
like,
films at this point.
I think it's such a
Like-
beloved Easter egg that it's basically canon. It's like one of those things.
The Newt Scamander name was literally just because there was a comic
book.
relief book called
Yeah.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
He is.
Also, it was like an original.
Mm.
It was in the Harry Potter
You know
and
what?
Philosopher's Stone.
You know what Roland's like though, with their like canonizing things. So I'm like 75% sure that it's hot canon, but there's like it is just an Easter egg, but I think it's ascended. Yeah, because on the map when Harry's like looking about.
We know that wizards do live to be a lot older.
Oh, aye. Like, I think it might even be more because isn't he like because he's related to Luna. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. So I think it might be super canon actually.
There's also because there's the Lestranges.
I thought that that was a whole thing with Luna. I thought that because like the first film ends where like Newt and Tina don't get together, and the film ends. They go back to their countries, and I was like, are they doing this because they've established that like Newt is like Luna's great granddad or whatever, and apparently not. They're like not related like that. I think he marries his. There's something that goes on there, but like it means that he can get together with Tina.
I quite enjoyed the bureaucracy at the start of the film where he was like, I need to travel, like I need to go
Yeah.
out. Like I love that like wizards are still banned from visiting other countries. Like it was great.
That
Like,
whole bit
wizards
is what
also have like horrible human crap to deal with.
that whole bit is what reinforces the Bond film vibe in my mind because there's this whole like setup bit where they're in Britain
Yeah.
and like Bond
Goes to MI5.
his license to kill has been revoked, but in this case it's his license to travel, and then like Dumbledore's like, we've got a mission for you, son. Like it's on the down low, but we've got a mission for you. I quite liked all of that. And then
And then he illegally entered France.
yeah, with like that bucket portkey.
Bucket for people.
Which I thought was
That
gonna be
guy
something
who
different.
got a lot of money for doing that. Like, was
Yeah.
it 5 galleon, 50 galleon?
50 gal. It was like there's a great like thing where he's like, no, I'm not telling you because like I'm not even gonna keep talking. But it was good. It was a good film. Like I hear it's getting like trashed critically.
I
And
didn't
box
know.
office was
Like,
like,
I read that. I'm like, no, nothing. This film seems good. Like I don't. I
It was
think it's just
enjoyable.
good. Like critics don't understand like genre stuff.
yeah, it's a middle film as well, and like it's very much
Critics always hate middle film.
yes. I mean, we famously because of The Last Night, all those
You mean the Dark Knight?
no the Last Night the Star Wars The Last Jedi The Last Jedi dredged up all the Empire Strikes Back reviews at the time, where people at the time didn't like it, and it's now been like mythologized to be like the best film. I don't think it's even like that. I think it has problems because like the whole Credence thing I don't really care about. I like Credence, but
There's
like
so much set up for.
there's so many
future
characters
films.
as well.
Yeah, like
I think they kind of get
I
away
feel like
with it.
I feel like this doesn't need to be 5 films. Like I know.
No, they're just doing that because all the Harry Potter films.
Did you see the trailer for the Harry Potter Pokemon Go style? Game?
Yes.
I
Niantic.
my first instinct was, what is this?
Yeah.
And then as soon as a Niantic name popped up, I'm like,
Like,
I know exactly what this is.
What are they going to catch? Is it going to be beasts?
I
Is
guess
it
it's
going
going
to
to
be
be
wizards?
beasts. Like, I think it said it's going to be beasts, and there's going to be like wizardy stuff.
Yeah.
It will be the most popular thing on the planet.
I'm into that. If I ever get a phone that could run one of those things and enough data, I'd definitely get into that. What other trailer? There was a trailer that I loved but instantly forgot, and it was for that modern day King Arthur
Oh yeah,
thing, which looks like
that
the
looks
most,
quite good, but also
quite-
probably terrible.
but like, or maybe looks quite terrible, but it's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
Like it looks because it comes out in like February, and it looks like the most February film I've ever seen. Like
ready in the country into Brexit.
Oh, it looks so English as well. See, it had like one of those lines where it's like, where did you learn to do that? Or where did you learn to like drive like that? And like, they could have said GTA, but they said Mario Kart because it's a kids' film.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was fine. And
I'm
then
glad that film got made.
Mm.
Like, someone got the money to make
that trailer made me think about the TV show Merlin, you know, the off-season Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Do you know how that ends?
No.
Merlin, like kid Merlin, youth Merlin guy, survives into the modern day. There's a fantastic last 3 seconds of that last episode because it's mostly all like fantasy past stuff, Arthur, I want to say, dies, but it's like the whole thing where he's taken away to Avalon, and then Merlin has to like watch over him, and then there's just a smash cut to like a car going past Merlin, and he's just like wearing modern clothes, and he's like trekking out to like a field to like where he's buried, and then it just ends, and like I love it, like I'm obsessed with that moment.
Incredible.
The Pokemon trailer came out as well, which we should probably talk about because we'll never have another venue for it.
Did we not talk about this last week?
Did we? I can't remember.
We did talk about it last
What was the other trailers then? Because I was enraged because I've seen Grindelwald twice now.
Yeah.
It held up the second time. I saw.
Yeah.
It held up better the second time than Infinity War did the second time. Infinity War dragged a little the second time I saw it.
Oh, we never even talked about my favourite scene was Nicholas Flamel appearing.
Yes, I love Nicholas Flamel.
It was amazing, and then the Philosopher's Stone was in the background. Yeah. Like the camera just like sort of like it was like, oh my god.
That was there, and like it doesn't seem like a great thing to be immortal because he's so
like,
old and
Nicholas
like brittle.
Flamel had the moment of the film with his like walk running.
Yeah.
It was incredible, like the way they.
I haven't stopped thinking. Yeah.
It's so good.
I haven't stopped thinking about his line about how he hasn't seen action in 200 years. I love that he refers to like wizard fights as seeing action. Like that's fantastic. And then he just turns up at the end of the film. Like there's these like Satan dragons that are setting fire to everything that might destroy all of Paris. And he just like rocks up to the rest of the cast and he's like, all of Paris will be destroyed if we don't do this. Everybody in a circle, your wands in the ground. Like, he just saves the day.
It was great orange versus blue flame war.
Oh, aye. They were very Satan-y, those dragons. I don't quite like that kind of climax of the film. I feel like it's kind of weak after the rest of it. And it was very middle film. It put me in mind.
Very middle film.
You know what? It wasn't just because of Johnny Depp, right? But see the last bit of the film where all the characters have gathered and they're standing on that bridge at Hogwarts. It made me think of Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest a hell of a lot. Because I feel like that film ends with all of the characters standing together, being like, "We've got to go get Johnny Depp back from hell.
Yeah.
How are we going to do this?" And then in this film, it was just like, we've kind of been defeated. And
the second Pirates Caribbean, does that not end with what's his thingamajiggy appearing? Bill Nye.
Not Bill Nye. That guy.
The guy.
The guy.
Dead man. Like
the guy. The villain from the first one. I can't remember his name. Like I can't remember the character's name, and I can't remember the actor's name, and I probably should. It's not Gambon, is it?
Man. He's got tentacles.
Oh no, Tentacle Man's entirely that film. He's the villain.
Oh.
Bill Nye is the villain of two.
Yeah.
He is Davy Jones. The first guy, Barbossa, is the first guy, and he's that actor that I can't remember his name.
Confused.
Yeah, there's a lot of old men actors in those films. Thanks for listening. I know everybody checks out after we stop talking about Doctor Who.
We'll be back next week for the Witch episode. I don't know what it's called. Sorry.
I've seen that title today multiple times.
There's 3 episodes left.
Yeah, is it Witches and then
something else and then
is it something else? Do you think it'll lead in? That's always like speculation. That's always like, oh, will they do a setup episode?
I get it, we'll find out.
I hope they do one, and I always hope to do one. I hope they do one like what's it called? Not Journey's End, but the one before that. Bad Wolf? Is it just called Bad Wolf? You know, Eccleston's final series. Final season. Is it Bad Wolf?
Parting of the Ways.
Parting of the Ways.
What's
not...
the one before that? Bad Wolf and the Parting of the Ways.
Bad Wolf. You know how that one is it's like a set-up episode, but it's kind of distinct from its other one. I hate it when the two-parters are just basically the same episodes.
I like when they have different sets.
Yeah, that first one is very like Big Brother and like Nika's Link and Trinity and Susanna. And then it's the same thing.
It's very 2005.
It's very 2005. And then the second part, I guess, is quite samey, but it doesn't feel the same because they hold on to the Big Brother thing for so long in that first part.
There is Big Brother stuff in the second act.
Is there?
I think so.
Is there?
I want to say there.
Like one of the Big Brother contestants gets killed by Daleks. I remember the speculation in 2005, will this character be a companion? But no, she dies. In space, I feel like the Daleks shoot the glass and she gets shot out into space because it's 2005 and we can just kill people. We'll find out what the episode of The Witches is called. It's not The Witches of Eastwick. It's not. Is it The Witches with a Y?
I don't know.
No, isn't it like The Witch Finders? Cause it's,
The Witch Finders, that's
yeah, because it's like a... What if it's like a pure historical thing? What if this is
I
their
guess
like?
I'll find out. I might not like it, so. If they ever go
This is
to
their-
London 19.
Well, this is because like, so when you think of witch finders, don't you think of like Salem and like
Yeah.
America and
I
like,
think
Puritans?
it's going to be British, so I don't know, I could be wrong.
I think it's going to be British, which I think is a bit questionable. Anyway, bye.
Bye!